Hello and welcome to True North EV. I'm your host James, coming to you from, of course, Winnipeg Hyundai, where they have quite the collection of electric vehicles out here. They got a collection of the 2021 Hyundai Kona EVs, and they got the new ones with the non-diamond plate look to them. So that would be the 2022s that are very flat nose, more kind of like the Tesla, with nothing to make it look like a fake grille. So if you're looking for those, they got them. They also have, sitting on their little main sidewalk here, is a Tesla Model X that they got for sale. Also, you may hear some fans in the background. It is plus 31 here in Winnipeg. It is bloody hot. I like my winters where then I could get the heat when it's hot out. I just am warm. And so I do have the air conditioning on. And actually, thanks to Barry Smith, I've been playing a lot more with utility mode. So I actually have it in utility mode right now. And it's fantastic. It turns off the lights on the outside. Or it should. It has in the past. But I'm looking in the window and I see my lights on. Okay, so apparently I need to play with this some more. Because I don't know why it's not turning the lights off now. But nonetheless, speaking of utility mode and me playing with it, I have actually... we went looking at, I would know the name, Paracels, something. It's the meteor shower that was just going through this weekend. My wife really wanted to go to it, check it out. So we went at, I believe it was about 11 o'clock at night, loaded up my son, and we headed out. So there was actually, where we went was Birds Hill Park. There was already a group, or a few different groups, already there, checking it out, the shooting stars and all that, meteors, and so I actually used utility mode there, and it was fantastic. It does keep the center screen on, and the instrument cluster and kind of any other little lights, like there's the lights for your... blind spot monitoring that's kept on, and your ignition, the power light, is kept on. So if you want to use utility mode for camping or whatever, I would recommend you bring like a thicker blanket or a towel maybe to cover up all those extra lights if they bother you. So there's that. I also bought a cover, actually, to cover up my power button so that light won't bother me. And so, yeah, and then all the other lights are off, but it's quite nice because then it was pretty near silent. Every once in a while you can hear the air conditioning pump kick in, and but even that is very minimal, especially, let's say, if you were in a campground or whatever. You probably would hardly even notice it in the next campsite, depending, I guess, how close the campsites are to each other. And then, so, yeah, if you guys have utility mode, especially, like here in Winnipeg, I know Ontario... Actually, I think pretty much almost every province has been hit pretty hard with either the smoke or the fires. So especially if you're in those areas and you just have the heat and the smoke and all that, you know, utility, and you want to go camping still, utility mode, fold the seats down, set a little camp, make this into a little tent, and you can put the little recirculate button on in your climate, and that will help give you some nice clean air, keep you nice and cool. Much better for camping. I feel it makes it a little more enjoyable of a camping trip. So it was Barry Smith that made me go down the lovely rabbit hole of utility mode, which I've now really started liking. And then we have Agnes. Agnes actually started chatting with me. I pulled up one day at my house, and Agnes saw that I had a Hyundai Kona and informed me that she recently purchased a Kona and was waiting for delivery. It has been delivered now, so she's had it for probably about a week now. So, welcome to the little Hyundai Kona family. And especially welcome to the EV family. She did send me an email saying she has listened to a few episodes. We'll see if she makes it all the way to this one. But she actually lives in my area, so it's kind of nice to see another Kona in my neighborhood. So that's kind of it for the emails. But so after almost 2 years, I am about, I guess, 2-3 weeks shy of 2-year mark, and I finally got, we'll call it a major service. It wasn't really a major service, but it was kind of pricier than I thought it would be, but it was more due to my silliness, I guess. But I took my vehicle to Ericsson Motors. They are actually located on McPhillips. They're kind of tucked in behind. But I've dealt with them for probably 2-3 years now with my work vehicle. And so I just asked them if they would do the checkup on an electric vehicle. They said, yep. So I brought my vehicle there this past week, and they actually have come up with an EV maintenance package. So you're going to have your normal, I guess, they're still going to check your radiator fluid, because the EVs still have, maybe not radiator fluid, but the coolant fluid for the batteries and all that. Still going to do a full fluid check, so top up your washer fluid, and they're going to check your tires, rotate your tires. What was the other things? Check your cabin air filter, check your wiper blades, which I'll talk about later. Check the wiper blades. What else was there? Drawing a blank now. But kind of just check your suspension. Because in their actual checking of the suspension, I actually did come up with a warranty item. It was for the right front stabilizer link. So it was loose, making a slight knocking noise, which I actually didn't even notice. I guess I listen to my music and all that, don't notice those things. But that alone, if they were to do it, they said I think it was about $150-ish. But it was a warranty item, so I did contact the dealership, which actually I contacted Winnipeg Hyundai, and they just ordered the part. They're going to let me know when it comes in, and they'll fix that up for me, which is fantastic. And I did get a cabin air filter replaced, again, 2 years old, but they could not find an aftermarket cabin air filter, so I did have to go with the Hyundai cabin air filter, which they're not cheap. They are $43 for just an air filter. So if you can find one, they are super simple to replace. I am currently looking for some aftermarket ones. I know there is some out there, K&N air filter. I would love to get one of those. When I had a gas vehicle, I really enjoy K&N air filters. Had them in all my vehicles. So if I can finally find a K&N air filter one, I will be purchasing those to put in my vehicle. So that's kind of your regular maintenance. I believe they said that the EV package is going to be, it's a half-hour work, so I think it's going to be about $40-$50 for just your regular quick checkup type deal, which is really good, especially if you have a warranty, because they can then find those items that are possible warranty issues and get it dealt with before it becomes a bigger issue. It's also really good for a lot of times with electric vehicles, the tires might wear unevenly, or there's more of a potential, I guess. Possibly more bald spots. So it's just good to do that overall thorough check. The other issue I was having was actually my brakes were making noise. It seemed like mostly when they were wet, but kind of just overall whenever I would touch them type deal. Find out my rear brake rotors were rusty, and the brake pads were seized to the calipers. So they were seized to the part that opens and closes. So that was where all the noise came from. So they actually had to sandblast those, clean it all up, get it all fixed, which now it's beautiful, nice, and quiet. The other thing I actually got in recently was actually a Kickstarter campaign that I kind of, I guess, paid into. Oh, I think we're going on I want to say September, I believe. Might have been longer than that, but it finally got delivered. They're called, I believe, Schedge. Schedge. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but if you want, go take a look at it. So the Kickstarter deal is they give me the wiper blade, the arm, and all that. But the great part about it, so I actually have free lifetime wiper insert replacements. So I never have to replace a wiper blade again. Every 6 months they're going to mail me out a new one. But it's actually the rubber part that actually touches the window. That part is the only thing that you replace. So instead of wasting all the plastic or rubber and all the extra materials that go along with making a wiper blade, all you're doing is replacing that small little piece. So that's going to get mailed to you in like a little package, I guess. I'm assuming it was quite the ordeal to get this. I actually currently only have the driver's side. UPS did a number bringing it in from the States. So the package was pretty destroyed by the time I got it. So yeah, but the company was super helpful and actually have all the new stuff sent out to me already. I believe it's supposed to arrive Monday, Tuesday, something like that. And I will put it on and that will be all dealt with. So that's kind of all the little things that I've done. Haven't really done much for long road trips. We went out to Portage la Prairie, kind of out hiking and whatnot. That was kind of the longest. We were supposed to go camping, but me and my wife did not get organized well enough in order to do that. But I did. If you are going to go camping, I would recommend you guys actually get any sort of charging adapters. Check out if the campsites actually have power to them. I've noticed most of the provincial campgrounds here in Manitoba seem to actually have power to them. So I'm not sure if that's just the ones my wife has been picking or how it's actually worked out. But yeah, they seem to have power, even if it's 120, because 120, I think they say it's about 48 hours from empty to full on a 120 charger. But I go with, if you're camping, then you are usually there for close to maybe 36 hours. So you can get almost a full charge even on a 120. Although most, when they have 120, will also have a 30 amp charger. So if you can figure out what kind of 30 amp charger they have and bring the right adapters, then you can at least probably fully charge by the time you are ready to go. I guess we'll go on to the speaking of charging. I still am not allowed to charge past 80%. I have talked to Hyundai again. I have talked to the dealership, and we may have a new battery coming September, October. It sounds like it's about a 2-day ordeal to swap out the batteries. So there's that. So hopefully, maybe in a couple of months, we will have a new battery and be able to charge up to 100%. And so now we are actually talking about possibly doing a winter road trip out to Alberta, especially maybe then COVID will be a little calmer, not so bad. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now, but me and my wife are double vaccinated, so we at least have a little more freedom. But yeah, so there's with the road trip, if we go with a road trip in the winter, hopefully we'll have a few more of those Tesla superchargers that will also have a CCS and I believe CHAdeMO, maybe it's just CCS on them, so that there's one place in particular, I believe it was Lloydminster or North Battleford. One of those two was supposed to get the Tesla supercharger along with the CCS or CHAdeMO adapters, and the other one, I believe, was a Canadian Tire, was supposed to get chargers. So either one, whichever one does it first, I will be extremely happy about, and so that would help. Especially we would need to change. I've driven for 2 years now with just my all-season tires on. I haven't put winter tires on yet. I'd prefer to do all seasons. In a way, it makes me drive normal. You don't get that. I see a lot of people that switch to winter tires and think that they can go through everything now. I've only been stuck once in this vehicle, and that was actually mostly due to me just trying to learn how much the Kona can go through, just because it was the very first snowfall and it was actually a fairly good dump. So that would have been 2 years ago, essentially, or almost 2 years ago, year and a half, when we got our first snowfall in 2019. So that was the only time that we had any sort of issues with it. Other than that, never been stuck. I guess keeping with that charging theme, I do have a new charger at my house. So it's actually, I picked it up from Sun Country Highway. It's the Amazing E charger, or Amazing E fast plug-in charger. So it has a 1450 plug, super small, compact. I used to have a charger that I actually picked up from a guy who was bringing them in. I forget even the brand name for it, but it had a screen that showed how much kilowatts was coming in and all that. Very fancy, but it only lasted for, it was about a year and a half of use. And yeah, and kind of in between when that finally quit working and till when we got this, we were actually using a 120 volt charger, which actually was not bad, given we don't go a whole lot of places. We weren't doing a lot of traveling. There was a few times that we did longer trips, like my wife actually went out. I had to take her out camping to Rivers, Manitoba. So I think it was about 2.5, 3 hour long drive. And so roughly 300 kilometers. I had to take her out there. And then I came back. And so because we only had the 120 volt charger, so level 1 charging, I actually stopped to get charged up at a level 3 charger, grab some coffee, all that fun stuff. And worked out fine. It was a little more of a headache, but for 99% of the time, it worked out just fine. So we do have now this amazing e-charger. It doesn't have no fancy screen. It's basically 3 lights that it powers on, charging, and fault. That's the 3 lights. So I go with, I guess, nothing fancy, but has a 3-year warranty, and it's portable, which were kind of the 2 main things we really wanted. And I believe that's actually everything for now. I am hoping to have a few more interviews lined up. Talk to my sister, she's hoping to get her driver's license, but I'm hoping her practice driving in my vehicle, which is kind of weird because I have my regen power up to 3, so maximum regen, so I hardly ever use my brakes. But just because in her road test and in her instructor's vehicles, they're all gas vehicles, so it's very weird for her to have that level 3 regen going. So I actually have to turn it all the way off and get rid of the auto hold, try to make it as, I guess, gasified as possible. And, so yeah, it's stressful teaching people to drive. And but it's going nice. It's nice because it costs me next to nothing when they use it. It's not wasting a whole lot of gas for it. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I'm also trying to talk her into possibly getting like a Nissan Leaf or something for her first vehicle. Get her into that electric scene as well. But on that note, now that this is a lot more of a positive episode compared to the last, there's a few things just to kind of wrap it all up. Now, remember to go check out the EVOBD2, which is an awesome device. Again, great, a handy accessory for the Kona Electric. It gives you actual range percentage and all that. So I felt a lot more comfortable when I was just charging with 120, especially taking my wife out to rivers. I knew exactly how much battery I had left. So if I actually had to stop or anything like that, given that 120 and only at 80%. So yeah, if you guys would do him a favor and go check out EVOBD2. And if you want, you can tell him I sent you. It's not really going to get you anything extra, but the guy, he's a great guy. I got to have a chat with him. So if you actually go back in my podcast episodes, go check that out. He'll give you way more information. And Web Motors Works is actually getting all ready to go to SEMA and to show off their electric crate motor. If you're into the whole muscle car scenes or modifying or converting electric vehicles, especially those old retro ones, they kind of want to maybe have that gas motor look. You go check them out. And if you guys want people that are a lot smarter and more knowledgeable than me, I would highly recommend you guys go check out Kilowatt Podcast and EV Resources Podcast. Those guys have way more knowledge than me. I merely talk about the cars I know. And hopefully have a lot more interviews with other people and their vehicles. And if you guys want to reach out to me, you can leave me a voice message on the Anchor app. If you guys have, and that's how you're listening to me, or if you would like to leave me a voice message, you can click on the link that's in the show notes, and send me a message. You could also go check out my Facebook at True North EV. You could go check out my Twitter, which is EV_North. And you could go check out YouTube. There's only, I believe, 2 videos. Actually, one is of the EV OBD2, kind of unboxing it. And yeah, you could go check those out. Hopefully, once it starts getting a little nicer and we're able to do kind of group meetups, I will be able to put more videos up on YouTube. But yeah, so any questions, comments, concerns, shoot me an email at truenorthev@gmail.com or truenorthevpodcast@gmail.com. I have both those. I will look and I will respond as quickly as I can. I do thank you so much for your time, and you guys have yourself a great day. Bye.